What's up guys, Matt Dashu here from Blue Star Nutraceuticals. Welcome back to week 2, day 1 of our Load and Explode program. Now, if you're just catching this video for the first time today and you haven't seen week 1 yet, I highly recommend you go back to week 1, day 1 to get all the specifics of how to do the program. Also, there's a PDF download in the description below. I highly recommend downloading that as well and going through it before you get started on this program. Today, we have a max effort lower body day with a deadlift focus, okay? So enough talk, let's get straight into the exercise. So our first exercise today is going to be a deadlift variation. So in your PDF, you'll see a few different variations you can pick from. I suggest using a variation that's gonna help you with the weakest point in your deadlift. So today I'm gonna be using a pause deadlift variation, okay? The tempo typically for these is gonna be a 2-0-E-0. Now the E stands for explosive. So during the concentric phase of this movement, you wanna be moving as explosive as possible. Even with me, I'm gonna be doing a quick pause. So I'm gonna pull up to that point where I pause. I'm gonna do my quick 1 to 2 second pause and then blast through that concentric motion as fast as possible. Now we're gonna be doing a 12 rep working up to a 12 rep max here. So what that means, just a quick breakdown, is I'm going to pick a weight to start off with, a nice light weight just to groove the pattern. I'm gonna bang out 12 reps. Maybe I can do 30 reps with this. I don't care, I want you to stop at 12. We're gonna continually add weight until we get to the most amount of weight that we can do for 12 reps. This whole process should take about 15 to 20 minute max. If it's taking longer than that, you're taking too long. In between sets here, you're gonna rest about 90 seconds, okay guys? So no long 3, 4, 5 minute long rests here. We want shorter rest periods, and we're gonna bang this out, like I said, in 15 to 20 minutes. All right guys, now just a quick aside here. If you see something funny in my mouth in between sets, I like to use a mouth guard anytime I'm doing some really heavy deadlifts, sometimes the heavy squats and bench as well, just because I really like to bite down and I don't want to grind and shatter my teeth while I'm doing my lifts. You're welcome to give that a shot if you want. I find it particularly helpful. It helps me grind out a few extra reps and I don't have to worry about shattering my teeth. So just one more time, if you see anything funny in my mouth and you're wondering what's up, that's what it is. I'm gonna put on a belt here for my max effort set. I like to wear a belt as a rule of thumb when I get into some of my heavier sets or if I'm doing really explosive work, just to play it safe. I mean, it does add a little bit to the deadlift too, which is nice. But for me, it's just that add a little bit of security. But I recommend doing as much as you can without the belt before you get into your heavier sets, just because you're not gonna be carrying a belt around with you everywhere you go. And if you need to lift something in the real world, you wanna make sure that you know how to brace without it. So kind of use this as a supplement, not as something that you do all the time. Especially don't use this when you're doing curls, please. That's what I'm talking about. Oh boy, definitely needed a mouth guard for that one. Otherwise I'd be spitting out my chiclets right now. Woo. All right guys, for my next exercise here, since nobody puts baby in a corner, I'm gonna have my minions come over, move the weight over to the center platform here for me. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Second round, I'm cutting down 80% of what I pulled for my 12 rep max. There was a 315, 80% of that. It's gonna put me in and around 245, 250 pounds. So I'm just gonna do an even 250 pounds here for my remaining 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. Again, remember, 2 second negative, 0 pause, 1 second concentric. Let's get to it. One down, 2 more to go. a couple of quick pointers on the deadlift too while I'm having my quick rest here. So I'm usually aiming to keep my back as straight as possible when I'm pulling. If you've got a little round at the start and you're able to maintain that through the movement, that's okay. But ideally, you don't want to be pulling your deadlift like that. That can get dangerous pretty quick. I also like to make sure I'm bracing really hard in the start of the movement. So big deep breath, bear down like Mike Tyson's about to punch you in the stomach. If you've got a belt on, you'll feel yourself pushing out into the belt. And lastly, I like to make sure that I turn my lats on too before I start to pull. That's gonna help keep my lower back nice and stiff. And it's actually gonna shorten the lever arm too. So I won't get too much in the physics of it because I'll bore the hell out of you. But it's gonna make the pull a little bit lighter if I do this, turn the lats on. And actually I should make one more point. Try to keep the bar roughly over the center of your foot. The farther the bar gets ahead forward, the heavier that weight's gonna be, and it's gonna rob you of lots of reps. All right, let's get to the last set. Forgot my pause. It's gonna have to be 13 reps now. Woo. Good work if you made it through that. Good job. On to the next exercise. Let's do it. All right, guys, so before I start exercise 3 here, just a quick word on the sets and reps. So again, we are doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Now, if you back off on this third exercise and you pick a weight, let's say, for example, you hit 12 reps and you feel like you could do 20, I want you to put some more weight on and get a little bit heavier. I don't need you to go failure on every single set here. Don't totally obliterate yourself, but make sure you're not leaving so much gas in the tank that you haven't really significantly challenged your body. So if you hit 12 reps, but you could have got 13 or 14, I'm cool with that because that means probably by the last set, 12 will be approximately failure. If you go too heavy on the first round and you only get 8 reps, peel some weight off, back off, make sure you're sticking in that range of 10 to 12. Now, to get to the first set here, I'm actually going, to be honest with you, a little bit lighter than I normally would here. Again, I mentioned in previous videos, but I'm kind of nursing a hamstring tear a little bit here. I'm rehabbing it, and I just want to play smart so that I don't re-injure it. Typically, I would probably go a little bit heavier than this, but we'll see how I do with this set. If it feels too light, I'll up the weight just like I told you to. For round 1, in all honesty, hamstring felt super good there, and I felt like I probably could have got 20 reps, so I'm not gonna make you guys do anything I wouldn't do myself. I'm gonna load a little bit more weight on this for the next round. All right, guys, now I'm about to bang out my next round here. I just wanted to go over something real quick with you here. So in case you guys haven't seen one of these little devices before over here, essentially what these things are is just a way to help you load your deadlift bar and unload it. So you'd wedge the bar underneath, inside these 2 openings, pull back, and that just lifts the bar off the ground so you can more easily get the plates on and off. I might be a bit of a gym snob in the sense that I've never really used one of these myself much. I'm just from the old school before we even had those where we always just loaded and unloaded all of our own weight. I'm gonna have my minions come over, move the weight over to the center. Here for me. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. To me, using one of these things is kind of like, you know, driving to the gym to use a treadmill. Why not just walk to the gym and walk home again if you're trying to just get cardio in? That's just my opinion. I also don't lift 800 pounds and have to put all that weight on and off. So you guys do whatever the heck you want, but now you know what that thing's for. Don't be shy to use it if you want to, but don't feel like you need to use it if you don't want to. You certainly don't have to. All right, next round, get my chiclet protector in. Much better there. I actually felt like that was a little bit more of a challenge for me. Didn't feel too much pain in the hamstring there. Anything else too? That was perfect. We're gonna do a short rest. Got one more round of this before moving on to the next exercise. All right, guys, on to round 3. Last set here. So if you're not hitting failure on this set, you should be damn close to hitting failure at 10 to 12 reps, all right? All right, that's 3 sets there. On to our next exercise, which is the glute ham raise. This one's gonna be extra fun for me, given the hamstring injury. but I'm gonna do the best I can. Let's head over to glute ham raise machine. All right guys, so we're on to our next exercise, which is the glute ham raise here. We got 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Now, maybe 100% honest with you, I haven't done this since before the injury. I'm not 100% sure I can do it at all. So I'm gonna give this a quick test run. If it doesn't work, we're gonna have to switch gears here on the spot. Oh yeah, nope. All right, so simple as that. That one's not gonna work for me today. It's totally okay. Listen, this is a super tough exercise as well, so maybe it works out that it didn't work. If you're able to do this, please continue on with this one. I can't do it today, so I'm gonna really quickly switch over. I've got a 90-degree or a 45-degree hyperextension machine over here. It's not gonna hit the hamstrings the exact same way, but I'm still gonna get lots of great posterior chain work out of this. When I'm setting this machine up, essentially what I'm looking for here is to make sure that that crease of my hip is right at the top of this pad. I don't wanna be folding and rounding my back over the edge of the machine. And then as I'm doing my reps at the top, I wanna think about driving my hips into the pad here as opposed to arching my lower back. That way I'm making sure I get lots of hamstring, glute, and lower back engagement as opposed to just hyperextending through the lumbar vertebrae. 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps, 2-second negative, 1-second contraction. Again, not the exact same as our variation over there, but I'm still getting lots of good posterior chain work. I actually realized I set this machine a little bit too low. You want to be careful because sometimes you can crush important parts if you're not careful on this machine, which I just did a little bit of myself. So I'm going to bump this up a little bit so I can make sure I can still have babies at some point later on in life if I choose to. All right, gang two. Well, little dashes are still recovering from that last set. We're going to talk about how you might want to load this because if you're just doing body weight 10 to 12 reps, might not be enough for you. So a couple different ways you can do this here. You'll see a ton of different variations. You can either grab a plate, hold it across your chest like this. Works very well. You can grab a plate, hold it behind your head if you want. Keep in mind the weight is further along the lever arm if you're gonna do that, so it's a lot heavier. You can put a barbell on your back if you're strong enough to do that too. That's a more advanced variation. So if you're not used to doing this exercise, definitely work up to that. Don't jump straight into that. One of my favorite variations of this that I've been doing more recently is a Zercher hold. So you can grab either a straight bar or a W bar, an easy bar, and you can load it up and you can hold the bar in the crease of your elbows as you're doing your reps. Makes for a really nice variation in terms of loading as well. I'm just gonna grab a plate for my next set here, so nothing too special. I think the boys are about ready for action again. I'm gonna grab that and get started on the next set. All right guys, on to the third set here. Now one other little tweak here, just if you want to put a little bit more emphasis on the glutes, something that I like doing every now and then is doing a slight external rotation of my feet on the platform. So if I rotate my feet out to about 45 degrees like this, I find I get a little bit more activation of the glutes and it puts a little bit less direct pressure on the hamstrings. Totally up to you what you want to hit. Again, I always just kind of pick it based on what area needs more work. So totally up to you. But at least this way now, you got a few different variations, a few different options. Last round here. The bright side of this machine too, is if you're too tired to get up after your set, you can hang out here for a couple seconds if you want to. Just don't hang out here for too long or you won't be able to get off the machine again. All right guys, so on to our last superset here. We're going to be doing a Bulgarian split squat and we're gonna superset that with a dumbbell step up. Now, I'm gonna be using these boxes here just because they're a little bit more sturdy. I find when I do a step up, I like to have something a little bit more sturdy, but you can use one of these flat benches if you want, just if you have a harder time balancing, sometimes it's better to use something that's a little bit more rigid. Outside of that, pretty much anything that gets you a leg up is gonna work. The other thing with step up is you wanna have a respectable height here. I wouldn't wanna use just one of these boxes. That's not really gonna be enough to get the training effect I'm looking for. So you wanna step up that's high enough to make sure you're hitting good full range of the exercise, but that's not too high that you can't even get up without driving off that back leg. All right, so we got 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps each set. I'm gonna do both legs with my Bulgarian first, and then go straight into my dumbbell step up, one leg then the other before resting. Whew. Well, all right. That's it for me on this one. I'm not gonna do any more rounds of that today, but I wanna go over a couple pro tips here with this combo. So you'll notice when I did the step ups at the start of the set, I wasn't really touching the foot down. As I got more fatigued, which happened pretty quickly, I was putting that second foot down just for balance. Last thing you wanna do is fall off the box. So make sure you're staying balanced. You gotta have some degree of safety first. Next thing in terms of step ups, do your best to make sure the foot up is the foot doing the work. It's really easy to drive off of that back leg and not really use the front leg at all. Make sure as you come down for the negative part of the rep, you don't let yourself lean too far back. Otherwise you'll just fall down, you won't be able to control the descent. And when you start each rep, start leaning forward. If you're leaning forward, you're gonna be able to drive off the front leg. If you're not leaning forward, you'll have no choice but to push off that back leg to get the movement going. And in that case, you're not really working this front leg, you're just working the calf of the back leg. And that's what the conditioning is for after the workout. You guys still got 3 more rounds of this to do. Don't forget to get 15 to 20 minutes of conditioning work in after this. You might wanna take a short break after this before you do it. There's a good chance your legs are gonna be shot, but still try and get in some sled work, maybe some loaded carries, skipping, ski erg if you got it, rower, even if it's body weight stuff, running on the spot, short sprints, that kind of thing. Make sure you get into some conditioning work. It's gonna help with your recovery, help with your cardio. Outside of that, I hope you guys love this workout. Please hit like and subscribe to check out more of these bad boys. We're coming out with these very frequently. If you have any questions at all, fire them down in the comment section below. Outside of that, stay strong. We'll see you in the next workout. Cheers.